Good morning. So, today in writing, you are going to be working on the story that you've already been working on, or if you wanted to start a new story, you can do that as well because authors write many, many stories. So, your choices are to build on the story that you've already started, or you can start a new story. But there's a few things that I want you to keep in mind while you're doing your story, whether it's the one you're working on now or the one that you're going to start if it's brand new. Now, I'm going to share my screen because I want to show you what good writers do while they are thinking about writing their true story, right? And when we start to think about how we write a true story, first we think of something that happened to you, right? In the beginning of our stories, that's where the trouble starts, right? So, and then as we tell our story, we're going to touch and tell our story, right? And this is where the trouble starts. And then the trouble starts to get worse. And by the end of the story, the trouble is resolved. All stories have a beginning, a middle, and an end. And good writers think about that story, they touch and tell their story, then they sketch out what happened on each page of their story, and then they write their story, right? And on each page, you just want to write one part of that, of what happened. So on the first page, you want to write where the trouble starts. That's where you introduce your characters, you introduce your setting, and you introduce that problem or the event that happened. Then in the middle, the trouble or the event might get worse or more exciting. That's when everything starts to build up and get so intense and makes the reader want to read this story. And then at the end, on the last page, that's where you write about how the trouble was either resolved or how the event came together, or how maybe you had a happily ever after, maybe you didn't. Maybe it was just resolved in the fact that that was the end of that. But you need to be thinking about those three parts every time you're writing a story. So, as you're working on your story today, you may have a beginning, you may have where the trouble has started, and then maybe you need to write how that trouble got a little bit worse. Okay, we're going to add to those stories. And remember, we had that beginning, middle, and end when we were writing our stories bit by bit. So, you're going to add to your story today, or you're going to start a new story today. Don't forget those small actions and dialogue to make your writing more beautiful. Okay, I look forward to seeing what you've done. Please show me your work. I'm so excited to see these stories, and I'm so impressed by how your sentences are getting stronger and more detailed. It's wonderful to see. So, good luck. Off you go. Use this idea to help you. Three parts: beginning, middle, and end. Trouble starts, trouble gets worse, and then your trouble is resolved. I look forward to seeing you soon.